More fallout over the Spotify and Joe Rogan saga. Former Mumford & Sons banjo player Winston Marshall blasting millionaire artists like Neil Young and Joni Mitchell for risking Soviet-style censorship after removing their music from Spotify over claims of disinformation on Rogan's podcast. Marshall calling out Neil Young, writing, quote, "You can still stream his songs on Apple, ignore Apple's forced Uyghur labor, and on Amazon, but don't read about the company's infamous working conditions. Keep on rocking in the free world, Neil." Adding, this campaign is a clear stand against the cultural norm of free speech. Here to talk about free speech and Spotify and Joe Rogan is Fox News contributor and constitutional law expert Jonathan Turley. Jonathan, good morning.
Hi, Steve.
I think Winston's right.
He is right. You know, think about this. Artists against free speech. It's like athletes against fitness.
Right.
It goes against the very notion of people who are engaged in a creative enterprise. But there's a reason why you see this pile-on against Joe Rogan, in that he's the one that got away. He's the one that the canceling campaign did not cancel. And the result has been even the White House has called on Spotify to do more.
Right.
And various artists are lining up. So why is it so intolerable? And the answer is that you can't control speech if there's any alternative. And Joe Rogan is not just an alternative, he's a massive alternative with 11 million people.
Right.
But what I wrote about in that piece was that there's something interesting here which we shouldn't just push to the side. And that is, I don't know why Spotify did this. I think that it's not necessarily free speech as much as simple, market
business
realities. He's got 11 million up against an aging rock star. And that is something the free speech community needs to look at. For once, the economics worked for free speech.
Right, exactly. Your op-ed is in thehill.com. It's great. We saw that. We said we got to talk to you about this because, and you make the great point. You know, Joe Rogan's got 11 million podcast subscribers, which he's like their number. He's the gem in the Spotify arsenal of podcasts and whatnot. And podcasts, according to you, are a cash machine. They're up 627%. But here's the thing. Would they be doing this for somebody who was not making them any money? He's making them a ton of dough because, unfortunately, for him and for others, free speech protections do not apply to private businesses. And Spotify can do anything they want.
Yeah, although I want to emphasize that a lot of people on the left that have said that if it's not prohibited under the First Amendment, it's not a free speech issue. That's not true. I mean, the First Amendment is not the exclusive domain of free speech. What they are doing is shutting down free speech. The left has come on to a winning strategy. They were the targets of censorship during the McCarthy period, but they've discovered that if they use corporations to control speech, it falls outside the First Amendment. But it's not true that what they're doing is not a free speech attack. It is. They're trying to stop people from speaking on these platforms. And they're being much more successful than McCarthy ever did. McCarthy, if the extent of their success would make McCarthy blush today.
Yeah, no kidding. And ultimately, Spotify heard the complaints. They came halfway. They issued a disclaimer. And Joe Rogan came out and said, you know what, I'll have more balance. I mean, that for, if you're looking for balance, that's a win-win.
Yeah, and what's really amazing is they're hitting him because he was allowing dissenting voices on the virus and the treatment. Many of the things that people were tagged or canceled for just last year are now being embraced as plausible, reasonable, even clearly true. Things like that cloth masks are not effective barriers against the virus, that people can still pass the virus if they're vaccinated, the origins of lab theory. All those things are now being discussed in the mainstream media, when just last year you were a pariah if you even mentioned them.
Yeah. Jonathan Turley, he doesn't need Spotify. He's a Fox News contributor. This is his gig. Jonathan, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, have a good weekend.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.